Well, welcome again to the Wednesday night Bible class for the Stonecrest Church of Christ. It is always a plum picking pleasure that is presented to us each Wednesday evening to be able to come into your homes, your cars, your places of work, your sacred spaces, and study with you from the Word of God. We have been looking at our summer series entitled Living in the Cemetery of Regret. This study is based upon Genesis chapter 50, beginning somewhere around verse 21, or vicinity, where the brothers of Joseph, after the death of their father, come to Joseph and remind him that their fathers gave them a word that for some reason he didn't give Joseph. And that word was simply, the evil that we did against you, don't hold it against us. Forgive us for the evil that we did. We've been asserting that those boys were living in the cemetery of regret. Years later, in fact 17 years earlier, when they had come down to Egypt with their father Jacob, who's now dead, they were treated royally by Joseph. He'd already forgiven them. They had not forgiven themselves, which is why we call this series Living in the Cemetery of Regret. We just can't get past those tombstones. What we have been looking at the previous weeks is how Joseph got to the place of prominence to have been able to save not only his brothers and his father, but the whole world. They had 7 years of plenty. They had 7 years of poverty. During those 7 years of plenty, Joseph has been made the secretary of the agriculture. He is vice regent and vice president and governor in the land of Egypt. He's second only in rank, authority, and command to Pharaoh himself. Rather than take vengeance against his brothers, he has been gracious toward them. Now, be mindful of this. In talking about how Joseph got to that place where he could forgive his brothers, he could save the world, what we have been arguing for in the up to this point is the fact that Joseph got to where he was stationed in life only because, watch this, God detoured him. So in the past few weeks, I've been asserting to you that God uses detours to develop what the destination requires. You will remember that God gave Joseph this dream. In the dream, two dreams in fact, his brothers are going to do obeisance to him. They're going to bow down to him. His father is going to bow down to him. But I've shown you week after week after week that God showed him the reality of that dream. God showed him the finality of that dream. God did not show Joseph the process. He showed him the finish. He showed him the palace. By showing him the palace, God gave him the process, lean in, step by step. It took 13 years. Exodus 37:2, Joseph is 17 years old. Then we learn that in Exodus chapter 40 and through 42, Joseph is now 30 years old. So from 17 to 30, Joseph has been going through a process of detours for God to get him to his place of destiny. Remember one more time, in the dream, God showed him destination. God showed him destiny. God showed him purpose. God did not show him process. So what I've been looking at with you over these weeks is the process. And what I've been asserting is God uses detours. Very rarely does God take us from dream to destiny in one vertical straight line. Oftentimes, God zigzags us. So that's what we've been looking at the past several weeks, where we've been asserting that God uses detours, watch this, hear the operative word, to develop in us what the destination requires. Now, having looked at Joseph, I want you to see some other biblical examples of God using detours to prepare men and women for their destiny. Oh, I love that. Let me try it again. I want to show you now some other biblical characters and other biblical examples of God using both, come here, men and women, and he will detour them to their destiny. You see a number of them on the screen. You see Moses, you see David, you see Esther, there is Ruth, there is Paul. In fact, there's even Jesus. All right? But tonight, I want us to look at Moses. And what you're going to see, oh my goodness gracious, you're going to see a striking reverse symmetrical parallel between Joseph and Moses. Now, I know I threw a lot of adjectives at you, so let me go fifth grade on you. There are times when I'm asking these AI programs to do some research for me, to look up some answers for me, and they do the research, they give me the answers, sometimes they even give me the questions, and so I have to say to them, okay, answer as if I'm a fifth grader. Sometimes I say to them, answer like I'm a college student, answer like I'm a professor. But let me talk to you. I don't mean to insult you. I mean to be real simple and real clear in looking at, watch this, the reverse symmetrical parallel. I'm going to explain symmetric to you in a slide or two. But let me give you the headline here. Okay. All right. Let me just go fifth grade on you. Okay. If you just look at the graphic I have on the screen, Joseph and Moses. Watch this. I guess I should have started off with this rather than throw my thesaurus at you with symmetrical. Watch this. Opposite routes. Same God. Ooh. That what you mean when you say symmetrical? Watch this. Watch this. Opposite routes, same God. If you study carefully the life of both Joseph and Moses, you will discover some really interesting parallels. Now, what do I mean by that? All right. Joseph's detours eventually takes him into Pharaoh's palace. Joseph's detours starts in a pit that eventually gets him to the palace. Watch more. Moses starts in a palace. Joseph is trying to get to the palace in order to save his brothers, to save Israel, to save the world from starvation. In order for God to get into the palace, God is going to take him through a pit, to Potiphar's house, to prison, and then to the palace. Moses is the opposite. Moses' life trajectory starts him in the palace. When he was but a baby, in Exodus chapter 2, his mother places him on the Nile River in order to save his life. This is Exodus chapter 2. As a result of that, because Pharaoh had put out a decree that all boy babies under the age of 2, kill them, Moses' mother just could not declare execution on her son. She hid him as long as she could hide him, and then she put him in an ark of bulrushes and sent him down the river. Guess who discovers him? Come here, lean in. This is Exodus 2. Go back and read the story. Pharaoh's daughter discovers this slave baby, takes him to the palace, and raises him as her son. Isn't that interesting? Joseph spends 13 years trying to get to the palace. But Moses starts in the palace. God is going to have to get Joseph in the palace. Oh, watch this reverse symmetry here. God has to get Joseph in the palace to save Israel and the world. God has to get Moses, oh, you got it. See it now? God has to get Moses out of the palace, send him to the pasture so he can return back to the palace to liberate God's people. Oh, I feel like shouting right through here. Did you see it? God has to get Joseph to the palace. He has to get Moses out of the palace. Send him to the pasture. Send him to the wilderness. And watch this. And let him stay there for 40 years. Dr. Barclay, slow that up and now talk to me like I'm a third grader. Here we go again. God has to get Joseph to the palace. He has to get Moses out of the palace. Doesn't send him to a pit. He sends him to a pasture. He sends him to a wilderness. Watch this. Oh my goodness. He sends him to a desert, a wilderness, to tend somebody else's sheep. And he lets him stay there 40 years. Oh, watch the screen, watch the screen, watch the screen, watch the screen. Joseph went from the pit to the palace. Moses went from the palace to the pasture. Come here. Moses is a prince. Moses is going to be the next Pharaoh of Egypt. He's the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He's next in the line of succession. Well, isn't he where he needs to be in order to deliver God's people? Why would God remove him, watch this, from the palace and sends him to a pasture? Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Sound like Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Here we go. Watch this. Because he's in the palace too early. If Brother Ford were here tonight, he right through there, that part right there, Brother Ford would holler out, say, what? What do you mean? He's positioned too early. Here it is. He ain't ready for it. What you mean he's not ready for it? Exactly what I mean. That's why God uses detours. Because in the detours, God develops what the destination requires of one when they get there. We see it everywhere. We see it in education. We see it in athletics. We see it in corporate America. We see it in churches. We see it in relationships where people are simply not mature enough to handle what the position requires. That's what we have here in Moses. Oh, he's in the palace, but he's not mature enough to handle the position and the authority of the palace. Now, I want you to watch this, friends. I'm going to put on the screen a chart of Joseph and Moses, and in the chart, I call it opposite routes, same God. Look at Joseph. Lean in and look at the chart, all right? Joseph started out as a favorite son. He started out with some advantages. And God had to have his brothers put him in the pit to teach him some humility. It was a painful lesson. God had shown him the palace. God had shown him a position of authority, but he didn't know how to handle it. So to begin to teach him how to handle it, God navigated the circumstances of Joseph's life to cause his brothers to put him in a pit and to sell him as a slave to Potiphar, because God needed to teach him some responsibility at Potiphar's house. God needed to teach him that folk are going to lie on you. God needed to teach him that you're going to be in prison for something you did not do. And through all of that, there are some lessons that God is trying to teach him by detouring him to his destiny. But then look at Moses. Moses is raised in Pharaoh's household. Watch this. Moses is educated in Egyptian wisdom. I hope you can see the scriptures attached to what I'm saying to you. Acts 7:22. Moses is trained in the language, the customs, the culture, the politics, the administration of Egypt. This man receives one of the finest education known to man. This is Pharaoh's son. This is a prince. He's well trained. He's well educated. He's well schooled. Well, can't God use that? Yes, God can use it, and God will use it. But come here. God can't use it now. Oh, glory. God will use it. God can use it. But he can't use it now because Moses don't have the temperament, the character to handle where he is. Watch this. It's not like Moses earned it. He got discovered. Joseph earned his stripes. Moses, he was just floating down the river. And Pharaoh's daughter found you and raised you as her own son. Watch this. Moses was raised in and with privilege. Oh, you need to see that final column where I says privilege may be preparation, but privilege alone cannot produce purpose. Oh, B, you need to slow this thing down. See, he's privileged. Privilege may be preparation, but privilege alone cannot produce purpose. I want you to watch this. Look at the second line there. And watch the parallel with Joseph. He lost his coat. He lost his coat of many colors. He lost his favorite status and standing. Come here. Before he got to the palace. Moses loses the palace. He loses privileges. He loses security. He loses status. Watch this. While in the palace. Oh, glory. The place that Joseph is trying to get to, Moses is already there. See, Joseph lost his coat. Moses lost the court. Oh my goodness gracious. He lost the royalty, the authority of Pharaoh's palace and Pharaoh's court. That's the palace. Joseph lost a coat before he got to the palace. But Moses lost everything while in the palace. Come in, lean in, lean in, lean in, lean in, lean in, lean in. Watch this, watch this. Joseph lost his coat. Moses lost the court. Here's your shout. But neither one of them lost their calling. Preach, boy. Joseph lost his coat. Moses lost the court. But neither one lost their calling. God still had a calling on Joseph's life, even though his brothers took his coat. God still had a calling on Moses' life, even though he lost all of the privileges of being in the palace. Oh my goodness, I can give you 10 or 15 more just like this. But I don't want to bog you down right here. I want you to watch this. Moses is one of Scripture's clearest examples that God often develops the person don't want to follow instructions. If you can deal with that, you got it. Then you are now ready to deal with stubborn, stiff-necked, dirty, dangerous people who have no sense of direction. For 40 years, God let him observe the tendencies, the propensities, the stubbornness, the stiff-neckedness of sheep to prepare him to lead God's people out of Egypt to the promised land. One last time. Egypt gave Moses education. Midian gave Moses formation. The wilderness gave Moses preparation. And the Exodus gave Moses occupation. Watch the next graphic. God showed Moses the burden at age 40. But he did not release Moses into his assignment until age 80. Say what? At age 40, Moses is in the palace, and he's beginning to sense that God eventually wants him to deliver his people. But God has not officially called him to do that yet. But he senses it at age 40. But God does not call him until age 80, when God calls him to appear before a burning bush. Let's try that again. God gives him a burden for deliverance at age 40, but he never gives him the assignment until age 80. Watch the graphic on the screen. I think it's insightful. I ain't bragging on myself, but I think it's insightful. Acts gives us an important chronology. Moses was approximately 40 years old when he attempted to intervene on behalf of his Hebrew brothers. That's Acts 7:23. I'm going to read the scripture to you in a second. He then spent another 40 years in Midian before God appeared to him at the burning bush. Follow. At age 40, Moses, sensing a burden to be a deliverer, and he failed, and he had to flee from Egypt. I'm going to read it to you in just a second. Watch this. First 40 years he spends in the palace. The next 40 years he spends in a Midian desert. And the last 40 years he spends leading Israel out of Egypt toward the promised land. Deuteronomy 34:7 tells us that Moses dies at the age of 120. Isn't that interesting? Verse 40, privileged in the palace. Next 40, outcast in a desert. Last 40, purpose, destiny as a deliverer. You see, Moses' life divides almost naturally into three 40-year movements. 40 years in Pharaoh's palace, learning to be somebody. 40 years in the Midian desert, learning to be nobody. And then the last 40 years as a deliverer and a leader, leading God's people out of Egypt, learning what God can do with a somebody that knows they are nobody, but now surrendered to God. Let's read the text. Acts 7, verse 23. When he was 40 years old, here it is, it came into his heart to visit his brothers, the children of Israel. Come in. He leaves the privilege of the palace, and he goes out with the common people. He now has a burden that, I'm living a plush, privileged palace existence, but there's a stirring in my heart. Ooh, y'all listen to me, please. He sees day after day, year after year, people being mistreated. And he believes and he senses that he can do something about that. Look what he tries to do. Verse 24 of Acts 7. And seeing one of them being wrong, he defended the oppressed man and avenged him by striking down the Egyptian. Now, Moses has been raised as an Egyptian. Somewhere along the line, his mother got to him because she's the one who raised him in the Pharaoh's palace. So she's told him, son, God has a calling on your life, a great calling on your life. So what is going to happen? What is he going to do? Well, I'll tell you what he is going to do. And when he sees his brothers being oppressed by an Egyptian, he kills the Egyptian. Come in close now. He thinks he's helping the Egyptians. Verse 25, the next day, he sees two Hebrews struggling with one another, and he interrupts their fight. And one of them says to him, you gonna kill me? Like you killed that Egyptian yesterday? Oh, y'all missed something. You missed something. This is what you missed. When you go back and read the story, the Bible says Moses looked this way. He looked that way. And he didn't see nobody. Moses is thinking nobody saw him do what he did in killing that Egyptian who was abusing one of the Hebrews. But the next day, one of the Hebrews says, now wait a minute, who's made you ruler and judge over us? Well, wait a minute. And I'm going to let you go right through here. How did he know? How did one of those guys know that he killed somebody the day before? Maybe it stands to reason that he was the one who got rescued the day before. Watch this. He gets turned in by his own people. Oh, my friend, this thing is going to get gooder and gooder and gooder. And you do not want to miss next week's message as I finalize this example of God taking Moses out of the palace, sending him to the pasture, then bringing him back to the palace, and watch this, using his training, his education, his skill, his leadership, his language, all of the stuff he learned earlier, but did not know how to use it. 40 years in the wilderness has taught him how to use it. And you don't want to miss that next Wednesday night. And until next Wednesday, may the Lord of the harvest bless you, and may he bless you real good.
see. I'm hidden inside. Deep into my heart. You. And if you are for me, no one can be against me. Hey, I'm never worried, 'cause God is there watching me, keeping me. Think about